Good evening, everyone. Hope you can hear me okay. Just trying to get tonight's co-commentator, Steve, to join us. There we go. Evening, mate. Much better, much better. So I've already started the stream. So evening, Steve. I was just saying to everyone that I was just waiting to get you online there, but it seems as if I've definitely got you. So how did you enjoy the football? Did you watch any of the games?
Yeah, I mean, I watched most of the Portugal-Belgium game, but then it was time to get my little lad to bed, so I missed sort of back end of what might have been. I don't know. I'm guessing Portugal ended up losing, but no, to be fair, I've watched most of it. To be fair, I've been a bit disenfranchised with football up until this
Mm.
year. I've got a bit, it sort of brought a bit back, and I've watched every game I've been able to. To be fair, so it's quite nice to be feeling like you like it again for some reason.
Yeah, it's a good. I had a similar similar experience. I think it's no- made no kind of excuse for it that I haven't watched any football the last sort of year and a half or something like that. Maybe it's just to do with the fact that there's no people there or whatever, or maybe I'm just bored with the whole thing. But it was actually nice to see some of the internationals, and there's been a couple of not too bad games to be completely honest. So yeah, enjoyed the Netherlands game earlier, so obviously that's good. Well, I don't know if it's good news for Denmark the way Netherlands played and the way the Czechs have been playing. I don't know which ones I would have preferred to play, but I'll take it. Czech Republic, why not?
No, they were. They did. I mean, they've been very good from start, really, haven't they? Czech Republic. Apart from the game against England,
Mm.
they've been solid, and there might be a little bit of a dark horse going forward.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not feeling too confident, but I'm never confident going into any Denmark game because we are capable of losing to anyone else. Talking to a mate of mine earlier, and they were like, "Oh yeah, but you have got some decent players," and I was like, "Do we really?" And then when you go through them, like Kasper Schmeichel, Premier League, winner, Simon Kjær, played all over Europe, and the Andreas Christensen, Champions League winner. You know what I mean? It's not like nobodies, but I just have no confidence in them. So there we go. But anyway, at least I can go online and see plenty of confidence from people from other nations, so it's all good. Anyway, let's crack on with the Super League. We'll try and do the show. I mean, not like super short, but we'll maybe do it a little bit quicker than we normally do, just because of the late start time. So evening, Rob, evening, Duggan, evening, Greavesy, and Hodgie's there as well. We'll see who joins on the chat, and hopefully. Yeah, hopefully everyone will be here to make substitutions, etc., if required. But first of all, let's have a quick look at the results from the last round of fixtures when Ryan and I had a rare opportunity to have a chat and have a look at the games. Um, you had a draw with the Vikings there, Steve. How did you? Gustavo Lopez, man of the match. Who saw that coming? How do you feel things are going at the moment? Have you got a bit more confidence in your side?
Yeah, I mean, we've lost 2 in 7 now, and then we switched to the formation we're playing, and we won a couple. And I think, in fairness, I think we had far better at first half. I think we'll maybe look at get away with a draw, but the amount when we're playing at home, the amount of goals we concede on 45 and 90 minutes is ridiculous.
Mm.
But yeah, to be fair, I take any result at the minute. From that big spell of losing game after game after game. And also the one game away from giving somebody an hiding as well with the way that they've been playing. So yeah, it's a bit. I mean, Lopez he got dropped at reserves with quite a few of them that were all annoyed with manager, and some of them are still annoyed with manager. But yeah, he come off at bench game week before, got an 8, and then he's come and got a goal and another performance. For me, there's no reason why he shouldn't perform in Super League. Yeah, if you have him on a home save, he's like. I mean, there's a few of us that have got a network save going at a minute, and I brought him in as a bit of a draft pick, and
Hmm.
he's doing really well. There's just something not there with him, really. But again, it shows when you're playing against the majority of AI teams, and he's a bit of a bully. But yeah, delighted
Yeah.
with a draw. I think again we've got burned tonight. I think if I were playing away, I think again I'd have it was the same story last season. I think it might have more of a chance of getting a result, but more confident of getting a result now than I would have been 4 or 5 weeks back.
Yeah, I mean he obviously, as you mentioned, a bit of a flat track bully, but he obviously did well down in the reserves as well. Rob points out, how did Lopez get man of the match? Yeah, it's a little bit odd considering that there's actually a player with a 9 um, who played the whole game. But let's not dwell too long on that. That's just one of those things. In terms of the playoff spot, is obviously hotting up a bit here. Devils an important win for them away at Astor. Gazelles winning away as well, another important win for them. Dragons, who are just kind of struggling to find goals, but at least they're keeping clean sheets, doing okay as well. Fulchester, big win for them. So a lot of, I mean, big wins for the boys at the top and the people kind of behind them. I mean, Gazelles, yes, they obviously keep in touch. Leddersford are keeping in touch. How do you see this developing? Is there any? Would you say that the top three are pretty much guaranteed with 4 games to play?
Yeah, I'd definitely say so. And knowing the way Greavesy plays, I'd probably say Boston to an extent as well are near enough there. I mean, the thing is, I think the thing that probably worried Rob more than anything, like obviously losing 3-0 at home, it's the formation he plays. You know, you're going to batter teams quite a lot of times, but there's going to be that time where you're going to concede goals, and it's about bouncing back from that. And so it'd be interesting to see tonight. But yeah, I think there's a bit of a fight going on there a little bit further down. I mean, I do think that win for Devils and Fife, in fairness, I think it's nice to see Fife get a solid, worked out win rather than either hiding somebody or either just getting beat or scraping a draw. It was a solid performance, and that just sort of makes you think, have they got a little bit there that they can settle down and grind results out when they need to do as well now. And I do think out of everybody, I do think they've got a little bit of underlying, I won't say issues, but you know, from last season, I do think there's something there that they're going to be a bit of a threat.
Yeah.
It's difficult to say. I think with 4 games to go, I think it's all about 6th place at the minute, and obviously Mac is there. But I mean, I think even down to Scott to an extent, you know, with four games to play, and Scott's, everybody knows how good Scott is at the game, and the players he's got at his dispensation, and you can't overly rule him out yet. But I think, in fairness, I think Aggies wants to be looking at really the way they've been playing. I know they got beat last time out, but I think if they can carry on the form they had previous to that, I think they're going to be a little bit of a dark horse for at least pushing it to the last game of the season anyway.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. Obviously, I can see there was some conversation here. How many points does Wood mathematically to get playoffs? 41. Yeah, well, yeah, yes and no. Because there's only a 7 point gap between, or even 8 points between. So if Gazelles and Leddersford, you know, if they are on 34, then 41 isn't really technically enough, I guess. But yeah, to a win for top three, obviously 41 points. Then with results against each other and things like that coming in the last 3 games as well, they're probably mathematically safe. Yes, so 41 should definitely be more than enough, but probably even 40 technically, or if not mathematically, should probably be enough. But we'll see how things pan out tonight. We've got some interesting fixtures here, so that's obviously a huge one. Astor against Fulchester, so we'll wait a little bit with that, just till we see that maybe Maka could be in the chat and Tato. I've not seen either of them, but we'll wait a little bit with that, and then we might just jump to something where I can see that people are around already. We've definitely got Dragons and Hodgie in the house, so we can see that one coming up. We've got yourself and Ian, but we'll save that for later, just as we normally do. I can see Rob's here. I'm not sure if Jens is here. I mean, we can even go Haggis as well, but we'll probably kick off with something like, oh gosh, there's so many to choose from though. I mean,
I'd probably, in my personal opinion, I'd say Sloths Hools here, because Sloths win puts pressure on everybody trying to chase that top spot. And
yeah, we can definitely do that.
pressure on everybody else then for the rest of the night, getting a bit squeaky, or either they can start feeling they've got a bit of a chance.
Well, we'll start. I'll go with your suggestion then, Steve, and we'll go with Spartak Sloths up against Hull Vikings first. That is the one that the game of the week as picked by the game itself. So we can go with that one first. We're gonna have a look at Rob's squad here. I wasn't 100% sure, but I think I've done it correct according to his instructions or his swaps. Big Marcel Desailly obviously comes back in, takes the captain's armband back in that DMC role, and I think he wants Scally here instead of Simeone. So I had Simeone in for Scally, Mr. Chairman. Well, you kind of do it a little bit cryptically, Rob, I'll be honest, but that's why I just wanted to check. Um, I was surprised to see had Simeone in for Scally. Right, okay, so this one should be all right. Well, we'll see if he objects to it. Um, how big a miss was this AE in that game, the 3-0 defeat? Is he like the key man for them really?
Yeah, I mean, I think his form's proved over the season. He's been for a season two Desai as well as at this level as well. He's been phenomenal in essence. I mean, when I first saw the squad, I mean, I know you're not a great fan. In terms of playing CM as opposed to DM, I do think Skelly's got that in him. He ends up with assists playing in centre midfield, but I mean, Guerrero's been. In honesty, all the years I've played, I never even knew Guerrero before getting involved and watching Super League, and he's just been for the last season and a half. He's just nearly 2 seasons now. He's been extremely good. There's goals galore there, isn't there? You just look and the way the Viera has been performing as well. It's difficult to look past Sloths in any game they play. In fairness, in my
Hmm.
opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose Julen Guerrero is one of those players that are, I mean, he's not really known at the game. And I guess that how old is he anyway? Uh,
I think.
Yeah, so he's 29 in what 2002 2003, so maybe not that many people really like knew, and because he always played for Bilbao, didn't he? So I guess that he was kind of flying a little bit under the radar in terms of the coverage sort of football in general at that time, but a very very good player anyway. But we'll see if he can do anything tonight. They're up against Hools, obviously. Hools who had that 1-1 game against you last time out. So Jens had broken his phone, so we'd given him dispensation to to move a couple of players, so up from the reserve. So he's brought up Kim Kellstrom. You surprised to see Kellstrom getting involved here?
No, I'm not. In fairness, because I was talking to Jens actually about him. There's just some. Again, there's these players that when you come to Super League, and there's a lot of managers. I'd probably say I talked to a few that you think you can get something out of somebody that probably don't do it before. And to be fair, he is a bit of like Mackie calls a myth. He's Karlstrom, in my opinion. But the odd time you do get good numbers out of him, I'd have probably swapped him and Rivaldo around because I think Rivaldo might be. I don't think he's left only, but he's strong. You know what? He might as well have a chance and have a go. He said he's going to give people a chance if they will be playing next season. So you got to give a couple of people a chance and see how they go. I'd probably play Zenoni over Sanyol, but apart from that, it's still a very strong squad.
Yeah, I
And
think he's been chopping and changing with those two over the course of the season. Samuel playing most of the games, but Zenoni has been playing a fair few himself as well, a little bit more centrally as well, but maybe not delivering as much as he's hoped for. He's got Shane Tolley on the bench. We'll see how he develops. He has scored a couple for the reserves, obviously a little bit slow probably for the first team, but we'll maybe with high creativity, finishing and flair, you just never know. But not good in the air, so we'll see if he comes on at some point. Um, yeah, well, we'll kick this one off. We'll have a look and see if anyone in the chat has got any predictions for this one. Um, yeah, well, fire away, guys, and we'll see. He gets number 40. Proceed to the match, right? So we're ready with this. Wood says it's going to be a draw. What do you reckon to this one, Steve? Do you think Sloss can get back to winning ways?
no, I agree with Wood there. In essence, I was thinking a 1-1. I don't think a 2-2 because I don't think Hools have got, without being rude, 2 goals in them away at Sloth, but they've got enough defensive options to block them out a little bit. So, yeah, I definitely see a 1-1. And just going on Tolley, that's the best stats I've ever seen from Shane Tolley season 2. ever.
It definitely looks very tasty. There's a bunch of love for the home side in the chat. 3-1 from Ian, 3-0 from Scott, and then a bunch of people saying draws. Rob predictably thinks that Hools are going to win this. I'm not so sure about it, but let's kick off the first half and see how it goes. As the Sloths take on Hools Vikings, obviously looking to get those 3 points on the board and be in with a shout of getting that red Q next to the old club name on the league table there. Um, Good start from Sloss. They have had that kind of like just heading straight out and battering teams early on. Oh, that's not going to be a battering. That's C. Roberto. That's not good for their chances, is it? In terms of winning the title, if that's what we're looking at.
No, I genuinely think that's what sort of cost them a little bit of a run end of last season. I think he actually got injured when he played me, and we ended up winning 4-1 at their place. I think I remember last season.
Oh
So
yeah, he'd
yeah,
had in March there. He had an injury. Yeah, that's true.
but then it's tough because if anybody's got zero bottle inside, don't remember is at Sloths or anywhere, he's going to be pivotal to assists. So tough decision here for Rob.
Yeah, well, he's putting Desai out on the left wing. He wants Galasek on. Um,
It's
and
got L6 left footed, if I remember. I might be probably wrong with that, but
right only.
yeah, I think
Either.
why not? Why
I
not?
mean, it's got Sally Hamages. Sally Hamages is either footed. I don't know. I'll give a chance, Rob. If Sally Hamages is either footed or we just go as you were here. Where have you got Marcel from? Says Ryan. I don't know.
Yeah. To be fair, in fairness, I'd probably, if you're playing at home and you score the goals you do, I'd probably put Rick over there. In fairness, myself, just to have a go. But
Hmm.
I would have been interested to see Desai playing left wing back or
Well, I think we all were, but we're being kind here. So Sally left, Galasek right. Yeah, we're gonna go with that one. That makes more sense. Okay, cool. Right, 13 minutes played of the first half. Who's with a big chance here now? Yeah, Van Nistelrooy finding the goals. If he can get, I mean, it's too late for Hools, isn't it, to turn their season around? But I mean, he's probably playing for not being part of a big transfer deal over the summer, you would suspect, because I think his manager's probably a little bit fed up with him, and he does have other options as well. Whether they're good or not, I don't know, but he definitely needs something from Van Nistelrooy. It seems as if Hools are definitely not. Uh, Coming off the worst there. Yeah, slightly, maybe just edging it a little bit in terms of shots, a bit more passes completed, a bit more possession down in the Sloss half, but a lot of it in the middle of the park. We'll just have a quick look and see how the goals came around. Van Nistelrooy, it was Samuel who took the free kick. Rivaldo on a 5. I mean, he's been hit and miss this season as well. But what do you make of the first half from the Vikings?
Yeah, I mean, he's one of them. Is Rivaldo? He's a good name in essence, and he's probably one of. He's not quite to the level of your Totties and people like that, but he is like that. But I think they're away at league leaders, and they're showing their own. I don't
Hmm.
think Zerabito, in fairness, has anything to do with that at this present minute in time. I think they've. I mean, to be fair, it's worse for me because I want to be on that first page by end of season. So it's worse for me. But no, I think Jens will be if he ends up watching or not. I think he'll be delighted with that at the minute.
Yeah, and I mean NDI again. I mean this guy is probably. Yeah, I'm not sure if he's quite player of the season because Roberto's been so impressive, but he's done a very solid job for them. We'll have a look at Sloths in the meantime. There's a bunch of sixes here. It's not really gelling for them tonight. 30 for Roberto in fitness, so that's probably a couple of weeks there. Guerrero is down to 83 already as well. We'll see if Rob wants to make any changes here at halftime. So a couple of players not delivering and a few guys on yellows already. Rather have Ginola.
Yeah, I think though I think the worry for Hulls here is that they've got another level in the mirror of Sloths.
Mm.
So if they come out firing second half, they're more than capable of getting a result.
Yeah, a quick double, maybe. We'll see. They didn't get them at the start of the first half. Rob says keep as the same, so we just kick off the second half and we see how we go. It's Van Nistelrooy again. I mean, we've got already 12 minutes played of the second half, and there's been a couple of dangerous chances for Hools already. Sloths are coming back into it a little bit now. There was Pizarro. Oh, we're up to 80 minutes already. I'll probably slow it down a little bit here. Pizarro with the header and the equalizer for Sloths. With just 10 minutes to go, all square now. Could still find a way back into it and get those 3 points. 5 minutes of regular time to play. Salihamidzic come forward. NDI tackles again. 4 minutes of added time. We'll see if they do anything useful with it. Salihamidzic, there's Tomadera. Will he be the match winner? NDI involved again. Picks up a yellow there for upending someone. Milito picks up the use. Christian Vieri, Milito, interplay by with Milito and Vieri there. Last chance for Hools, maybe. Can they do it? Rivaldo Ndiaye has been fouled. Desai picks up a yellow, but nothing comes of the free kick, and it stays 1-1. Yeah, pretty even first half and pretty even second half. So probably on the sort of balance of things, a fair result. What do you reckon, Steve? Fair result
Yeah,
in this one, considering the way the game went.
yeah. I mean, they always got a goal in them, and again, I probably if Pizarro wasn't in that side, but they got that goal. It's always the curse of the former team, isn't it? So
Mm.
obviously we're at Hools beforehand, but no, I don't think either manager can grumble with that. I think it'd be Rob will be a little bit more frustrated being at home and being in the position he is to really want to. Because I don't think he's ever been in playoffs from tweets I've seen out on his time of being in Super League. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously he's wanting it big time, but I don't think he can grumble or like I couldn't do last week with Hools. You know, you can't knock up for getting a point, but just being solid. But it shows that they've gone down a little bit rating wise, haven't they? So
Yeah, I mean that's not good when both of your AMCs sit on a 6. That's not. They are up against Marcel Desailly, but still, a 6 for Kellstrom and a 6 for Rivaldo. He's not going to be too happy with that. Nothing else really changed in terms of the first half. NDI just continuing to dominate in that role there, and Samuel getting the assist obviously. For Sloths, I mean they played okay by the looks of it in the second half. Bunch of 8s in there, but you'd at home, as you mentioned there already, you'd maybe expect a little bit more from them.
yeah, well, I mean, I said beforehand that they had at half time that they had that second gear up in them, and all their mates knocking about shows that they had it, but
Mm.
obviously we couldn't get past it and die. And Scott were right when he went on comms a few weeks back. I think he was saying the same thing. Like Ndai is the same for Hools as Tomasi is for Dudley Hill. It just they go out, they get massive range, but they probably don't contribute to much else about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think looking at that second half performance, how Sloths lifted and Hools, I would say nosedive, but dropped a little bit. He might be slightly a little bit frustrated that he might not have put a bit more pressure on. But I don't think either manager can argue with the result, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so fair, and relatively entertaining opening with that late goal from Pizarro and a 1-1. We'll have a look at what else is coming up in the Super League. I can see that both Scott and Mr. Greaves are in the building, so we could go with Bostock Stanley against Lokomotiv Boston next. So we'll probably have a go at that. Let's see if we can find them. Bostock Stanley, I think, are the home side. Um, it looked as if they maybe could make a comeback. It looks as if they maybe won't make a comeback and get close to the playoffs. It's been an up and down season for Bostock and sadly for Scott a little bit more down than it has been up. Zidane is in again. Tito is in. Giovanni is in. What do you make of Ashley Lythe? He's picked him up there as well a couple of weeks ago from the reserves, and he's done okay in his first 2 games. What do you reckon of the Bostock Stanley side?
Yeah, I mean, that one was my first comment before you clicked on him about Ashley Live, where he pulled him up, and if you have a look at when you clicked on his stats a couple of weeks back when he first come up,
Mm-hmm.
again season 2 Ashley Live, he's probably got he's not double figures everywhere like that, so it's understandable that he's playing in him. In fairness, I think there has to be a place in the side somewhere for Igor Tudor, but he has been for the last nearly 2 seasons now. But in fairness, I think for me, I think Scott got drawn into a lot of the stuff that went on earlier, trying different things, trying to change it up a bit and seeing if he could get on top of different formations with. But then he went back to what he knows and what Scott's really good at. And then he started getting result after result after result. So I genuinely think if he hadn't done that little bit of a spell of trying things a bit out there, I think he'd probably sat in top six by now.
Yeah, just a quick adjustment there. Obviously, he's got Ortega on the right back. I just double checked, and he has confirmed that as well. Um, let's see what else. David Collins, there was that swap with Vieri. I mean, I know Vieri's gone off the boil a little bit, but so did David Collins after that injury. Salva comes in. He's not impressed, but we'll we'll see. Maybe he'll come good tonight. It, it, he struggled for goal scorers really. I mean, Vieri wasn't doing it, so he swapped him for Collins in the hope that it would work. But uh, it's if looking at it, I mean, maybe next season. I mean, Brosek is he's been up and down as well. A couple of sixes there. He's definitely got a fair few players for the future, but it's just difficult sometimes to see where all the goals are going to come from. But who knows? David Collins might turn up again and start banging in the goals. They're up against Lokomotiv Boston tonight, and well, they are fully fit apart from Laursen. Can you believe he's at 3 red cards this season? I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I saw a previous comment about him being banned for more than one match, and it turns out it was because of his red cards, which I don't think any of us knew about until he like brought it up. But he's been solid. He's obviously one of the better defenders on the game in terms of talent wise, but yeah, he's strong. I mean, Klompe is very good. It's nice to see Christian Bourne's back after he played one game and got 3 months out after.
Mm.
That's what's in with him. But I think looking at his side there, Amar has been superb. But I think the bit of an unsung hero here has been Sorin. I think he's been really, really good for him these last
True.
few weeks.
Oh
Uh,
gosh, yeah.
real. And again, he's one of them when you go back to being a kid, he's one of them that you always bought straight away because you could, and you get a work permit before you knew about any offering them silly amounts of money.
Hmm.
But yeah, I genuinely think Soren's been his player of the season so far. But again, it's hard to see past any sort of result for Lokomotiv because of the way they're set up, whether a draw or a what have you. But
Yeah, well, they're always likely to pick up a point or two, to pick up a point, aren't they? I think bringing in Petit worked out really well for him as well. Sambrata's obviously sort of thriving under his new manager, who was never doing that brilliantly over at uh, um, Northern Burn, but Ian doesn't need him, and he's found a new home at Boston, so that's good. Soren injury or red, says Wooder. We'll see how that goes. Not sure about the Bostock spine with Tudor on the bench. Well, we'll see how it goes. In terms of predictions, I'm guessing that there's going to be quite a few low-scoring predictions. What would you go for with this one, Steve? Do you think Boston? It's got to be 0-0 or 1-1, hasn't it?
I'm going to stick my neck out and say 2-1 Bostock here,
Oh.
just a little bit.
Yeah, why not? I mean, you're allowed. I mean, I'd rather have you coming up with a with a prediction than to do any fence sitting. So I'm happy with that. Fifey agrees with you. He says 2-1 for the home side there. Ryan says 0-0. Dimple says 0-0. Ian Edwards says 0-0. Presumably Greaves he says 0-0. And yeah, I'm not sure what Scott thinks about it, but we'll see how it goes when we kick off the first half here, just double checking the speed. I think we are all good to go. So yeah, Bostock Stanley taking on Lokomotiv Boston. Two teams whose names I regularly get mixed up. I'll try and do my best to not do that during the actual game. Uh, David Collins involved early on there. Ibrahimovic was obviously found a space in the Lokomotiv Boston side, had a shot already there as well. Zidane, his fifth of the season. I mean, yeah, it was bound to happen, wasn't it? With a 6 point something average and very low morale, he gets picked and he comes in and he scores a goal. Bostock Stanley continues to be the slightly better side, I think, but obviously Boston are famous for coming back into it. And there is Imar, as you pointed out, Steve. He has been brilliant this season for Loco, and he's there with a goal in 37 minutes to bring the scores back to level. Plenty of chances for Bostock, though. They have definitely got it in them to score another goal. Will they, though? That's a different conversation to be had at all. Four other goals came in one game. Yes, indeed. He had one game where he scored four, didn't he? Zidane has got points out there. Yeah, fairly even. Bostock Stanley doing a pretty good job, but Lokomotiv themselves also getting quite a few shots off. Slightly better in terms of position for the Bostock side, and ball being played sort of relatively in the middle. We'll have a look at how the goals came about. Zidane with a bit of a solo run there, going past Petit and past Sorin. Lisa Rasu probably going to get the assist for that one. And we'll see how Aymar. Oh, he ran past a bunch of players, had a shot, picked up the loose ball afterwards. Royce has still got the assist, even though it was half an hour earlier. Um, who do you think? Do you think Greaves is going to be happy with that first half performance from his side there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, have we ever seen a low side have 7 attempts all on target?
And not often.
I think Scott will probably look at that as in he's done well to keep him out, but he's obviously put a bit of pressure back on other side. But yeah, have we ever seen that amount of efforts from Loco? I don't know. I've never seen anything above 3 or 4, in fairness. But no, yeah, I think Graves would be delighted, and he'd probably think he's got put a bit of pressure on him, maybe try and get a winner in the second half.
Yeah, he's picking Ronaldo to come on for Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who had a poor first half in terms of his contribution there. Not very good in the air. Apart from Christian Burns, they were kind of dominated by the Bostock side. We'll have a look and see how they performed. They left the Rapulas already sitting on a 9. Good for him, obviously. Ortega had a decent first half, so did Lizarazu. So did all of his players, actually. He has got Tudor, Shax, and Etu on the bench. What would you do? Would you try Etu up front next to Collins, maybe, or would you put Carlos Shax on, or anything that you would think of doing here, Steve, considering how well they've actually been playing?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, one of them that I'd probably go the same. But again, if you're thinking of it as a manager and you look at the amount of chances that the other side's created, you might be thinking, should I change something to try and stop it a little bit? But yeah, it's difficult to see.
Yeah,
And
he's gone with Eto in for Salva, who had lost 3 headers and had 0 shots on target. So perhaps not too surprising that he chose to give him a rest for the second half. We'll see if did that actually happen. Oh yeah, it did. Okay, that's good. So we'll see how it goes with Eto in the second half. He has got Tudor on there as well, but to be fair, everyone's been playing pretty well down at the back. So tricky one to sub. Um, can Zidane add to his tally? Do you think? Do you think they'll hold out Boston? Do you still stick with your 2-1?
yeah, I don't think Bostock will lose here.
Well, brave prediction. We'll have a look and see if it comes true. Samuel Eto's on and Ronaldo are on. Let's see if either of them can win it for their managers. Let's see who Eto has the first chance, but didn't manage to get a goal. We're on 66 minutes already. Collins is in there. Oh, he'll be disappointed not to have put at least one of those chances away in the second half. Scott Zidane from out of nowhere. Zinedine Zidane comes in clutch here with 10 minutes to play. Let's see if Aymar can find a way back for Lokomotiv Boston here. Not sure where that performance came from Zinedine Zidane. Oof, big parry there from Eleftheropoulos, and Lasisi cleared the ball away. Here comes Bostock going forward again. They've really played well this evening. Just 2 minutes left to play. Can they hold on to it though? Here comes Ronaldo. There's Ricardinho in there as well. Royce was fouled, and Collins down there making a defensive challenge. Ima puts it wide. That's a goal kick for Boston. Just a couple of minutes left. Zidane's coming forward again. Let's see if he can complete his hat trick. 7 goals in 2 games. If he scores tonight, that would be something to celebrate. Just a couple of minutes now to play. It is just that added time left. Zidane takes the corner. I thought he was going to score there. Ooh, here comes Ricardinho, and here comes Ronaldo. Smashes it low, just wide, and my goodness, a defeat for Lokomotiv Boston, a rare one as well. And you were spot on with your prediction. Well done, well done. Didn't see that one coming.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, it's fairly even. Zidane's probably got man of the match there, probably been difference. But he had that little spell towards back in the season last year, didn't he? When he were having 8s and 9s and 10s. He had a spell of about 6 games where he just dominated, I think. But yeah, it just had that feel of lining up formation against formation, and Scott being at home. I think it just sort of edged it. That's
Just
where
as
we went. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the striking. I mean, I know that he's obviously he doesn't want to be like the constant shithouser, but having two strikers, I mean, in this game didn't really seem to work out. Del Vecchio, I'm not sure I really fancy Del Vecchio at all. I mean, I know he's a Roma player and he scores some goals and stuff like that, but I'm not sure if I really think that much of him. Is there hope in the Bostock camp, says Ryan? Well, I guess technically. Duggan says the rest of the league will be salivating at that result, which which might be true actually. Um, Petit again with a good performance. Sorin did a good job. I mean, you pointed him out before the game there that he's a solid player, Roy. So there's not really anyone who's done a bad job for Boston here, you would say. I mean, apart from Del Vecchio, obviously.
No, definitely. I mean, Ross got an 8 again from when he first come up from reserves. I mean, I think Del Vecchio's better performances have come from when he hadn't played up top for Greavesy.
True.
He's done really well, especially earlier in the season when he was playing in AM or left centre of 3 midfielders as well. So I think, again, you can't rule him out for anything. To be fair, a game, but honestly, massive kudos to Scott though for putting it there and shaking everything up, and obviously giving himself a bit more of a chance as well coming into it running.
Yeah, very solid performance there from Milevski, getting a 10, but it's obviously to see Dan with the Man of the Match award picking up the 2 goals there, assist from Titov and Lisa Rousseau for those ones. Salva, the only, Salva and Giovanni were the only ones on a 7. Etu comes on, also get a second. I mean, that didn't make any difference at all, having him on instead of Salva. Ashley Lythe with another dominant display. I mean, it's got to be considering how many young players he's got at his disposal as well, who are still to develop. Brozic, Etu, Shax, a few others. Ashley Lythe is going to get better, isn't he? David Collins probably, Giovanni probably as well, with the deals he can make. I mean, he might not make the playoffs this season, but it's looking pretty promising for Bostock with regards to next year. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at Lythe there. He's obviously won just over half his tackles, but they were all key. And as well, putting his foot in, winning 5 tackles out of 8. He's trying. So no, there's massive going forward for Scott. Like I say, if he hadn't done that little bit of trying different things earlier in the season, I do think he would have been half near enough cemented in the top 6 by now. But no, looking at that, he's gone and he's beat a really good side. In fairness, really well, and it only bodes well for Bostock going forward.
Yeah, good result for them there. Very interesting to see. Next up, I think we're gonna go. I think we're gonna go Churchtown Devils. I'm sure I've seen both Dimple and Fifey in the comments, and I think it'll be interesting to see how Devils get on. Now we've just seen 4th place Boston dropping points there. Sloths drop points as well. Obviously, we'll see if Devils can beat Churchtown here. I think that's gonna be an interesting matchup. Just having a quick look at the team first for Kieran and Dimble here. So we've got Rocky Santa Cruz and up top, Donny and Totti behind there. Campiasso out on the left-hand side. I think obviously he's struggling a little bit with Ashley Cole out for the season. Pauva and Davies in there. Terry Okoronkwo Lehman. Are you concerned about Churchtown suddenly going on a run and picking up points or anything like that, or do you think that they are kind of their fate is sealed for the wooden spoon?
I mean, it's hard to say when you've got somebody different picking a team every week. But for me personally, to not have Kaladza there, and then have maybe Cambiasso in centre and Davis in centre midfield, or Cambiasso at left wing back's not something that I would ever even contemplate. Any save I've got him on, I'd definitely have Caladza there, and probably I think Sean Davis as well. Out of the three of Cambiasso, Power, and Davis, is probably most able to be at playing centre midfield.
Mm.
85% Totti. Uh, I I'm not a big worrier of fitness, but anything under 90 I don't do. But I think 85, when you're hoping for something from somebody who don't perform at all as well, I think it's hard to not see a six coming in from Totti as well. But I don't know. If they get a result, fair play.
True.
That can be Asso and Caladza there. Just makes you think a little bit.
Yeah, I can't remember who told me, or maybe it was wrong or whatever. The only thing the fitness does is that it affects the calculation for the risk of picking up an injury. That's apparently the only thing it does in terms of the actual game. That could be completely wrong. I could have read that on by someone who's just made it up. I don't know, but apparently that's what the fitness thing does, is that it's some kind of calculation thing for the likelihood of people picking up injuries. But we'll see if Totti gets injured tonight. Julen Guerrero started on 80 something for Sloths, and I think managed the whole game. Let's have a look at Mr. Fifey and his formation, which is looking a little bit like this. A bit unusual to see those. I'm not sure. Kieran Dyer. Is that right? Kieran Dyer, is he up there? I think so. What do you make of it?
Uh, he went away to a side who have been pretty strong all season, got a really good result, and then he's going to do he's going to do this. It's like, um, honestly, if it works, obviously I will tip my hat. And he's had success with this formation before, but that for me, no, I
Oh, I think I know. I think Hodgie's maybe hinting at something, maybe? I don't know. Is this how England should play? I mean, with different players, obviously, but is this the formation that England should play with one DMC instead of the two, and then two midfielders behind the three?
yeah, I think there's obviously a lot of scope for that to be able to do it. But I think going to a side that is bottom of the league and massively changing up after you've got an away win, I think he's running a little bit of a risk, in fairness.
Hmm.
But then again, after the last two seasons, who's anybody to question five for what he does, in fairness?
True, yeah, he's had a decent run. No, he says England should play a four. I'm not sure where, but he says it's not that. But anyway, predictions, everyone. Do England have three decent centre backs? I don't think so, says Ian Edwards. I don't know. I'd probably I probably shouldn't comment. Some people think they do. Um, predictions for this one. Scott says it's going to be a 1-1. Steve, what do you think? He's going for it, Fifey, isn't he? I mean,
Yeah, I'm struggling to see a Devils win with that formation. But then again, you've got Kieran Dyer, as much as he's that far forward against, can be a sort of left wing back, which probably might slightly negate it. But yeah, I'm gonna have to be. Do you know what? I'm gonna go 2-1 Churchtown here because I just don't like that formation.
ooh,
Apologies, Five.
2-1 Churchtown. Well, Tato says 4-1 away win. 2-1 says Josh as well. Home win for Churchtown. Dimble goes for 1-1 and Scott goes for 1-1 as well. We'll try and fair play to Kieran trying to get Totti injured. I guess that's one way of looking at it. Well, we'll kick this one off and we'll see what happens in the first half of Churchtown taking on the Devils. That formation can work wonderfully, says Ian Campbell. Well, we'll see. Um, I think he beat you with something similar, apparently, but who knows? Um, we're starting off here. Hmm? starting off with Churchtown having most of the ball and a couple of chances as well. I just keep seeing every time I see Impensa's name popping up, I'm thinking, oh, Devils are probably going to score now. Ferguson coming forward as well. They're definitely not having as much success defensively, Churchtown, as they've had in some of the previous games where they've completely like just nullified any kind of like opposition chances. Devils are creating a fair few themselves here. Um, it's end-to-end action. Montero with an own goal for the Devils. The manager is not going to be delighted with that at all. Big disappointment to see your key player ending up in a position like that. Cambiasso with the ball into Totti, and they could have probably made it two there, but he didn't. Let's see if the Devils can get one back just before halftime. They cannot. Oof. Well, that was Rob Holding for England. Right, interesting. Yeah, fairly even. Probably just Devils just edging it, just kind of a little bit better, but not putting away the chances. And Churchtown, yeah, just getting lucky with the goal there from Montero. Let's see how the goal came about. Um, Donny stepped up and struck the free quit. The wall, okay, deflected off the wall from Montero and straight in there. Five shots, looked like more, says Fifey. Yeah, well, we'll have a look at at the uh, the team performance. Three at the back. Where do you stand on three at the back, Steve, in general?
I played it once against Dragons and won last season.
Oh,
I played it thinking I did all right and then got hammered. So no, I'm not a fan of it at all. But when you're playing against like-minded managers, teams, I think it's a bit of a risk.
mm,
But it can work on the game. And I mean, some of his defensive players there, you look at Van Bronckhorst and Nesta, have been really good games. Um, but yeah, apart from Van Bronckhorst and Nesta, who seem to be probably passing it about to each other,
yeah,
Julen and Dyer in that advanced position, probably not had too much at ball. Neither has Kuhl. It's hard to see, looking at that, if they don't really step it up second half, where they're going to get a result out of this from.
yeah. I mean, with the arrows running into the box as well, I was thinking maybe it'd be better to have a. I mean, he's got Roy Mackay on the bench, but he's choosing to go as is, so that's fine. We're having a look. Totti's still on 81. He's chilling. There's no problem at all there. Taking it nice and easy, picking up a six and not doing anything. So, so he knows how to sort of administer his energy so he doesn't run out. Apart from that, solid performance from Churchtown. I think they're just gonna like hope for a second half of solid performance as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think for any manager, I need to stop picking single players out for being not be able to play where the players can be asked. Those got an eight there, which I apologise to Fife for because I probably wouldn't have done if I had called it out beforehand. But I don't think he's looking for a sub now, as well as Fife. He's changed his mind. But yeah, do you know what? Again, I think they've been really good. Palver's, I know he's played a lot in centre midfield from this year, and he's never a centre midfielder in a
Mm,
month. I don't like DMs, but I've become accustomed, and from certain people talking to me about there is certain DMs that can do it. Obviously, David's at Dragon since he's gone there,
hmm
gone Bournemouth. But yeah, I think I still can't see Mantella making a difference in the second half, which is coming on.
We'll see. Well, he's doing Emerson for Montella and then swapping these two. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in the second half. We'll kick off Devils against Churchtown. It could be interesting. Churchtown have that lead, obviously. Um, and but I mean, Devils do have Penza, which is also always a positive, and he is obviously the top scorer of the league, one goal ahead of Tsigalko, who we'll see in action later this evening. Looks as if Churchtown actually came off to a half decent start. They had a couple of chances. Oh, and then time did indeed fly. We're down to like 13, 14 minutes left here. Um, it's it's very end to end, but Churchtown probably getting the slightly the better of it so far. Just a couple of minutes left now. They need to hang on. Kuhl comes in there. Keane overhits it. No one, nothing comes of it. 3 minutes left. There's Mpensa. Drives it in low, but Lehman does well to parry it. Corner from Barry Ferguson comes to nothing. Terry heads it away. Another one that Terry heads away. another one. Nesta flicks it on, but Churchtown hold on, and it finishes 1-0. I mean, a very interesting second half performance there. Devils, as you mentioned there, it didn't really make much of a difference. They did have all of the chances, but yeah, AMLR worst positions on the game. I completely agree, Wooder. Even FL and FR is better than that, especially with those arrows. Um, what what can we say about that second half? I mean, obviously he shithoused it, you know what I mean, with with 2 shots on target, 1 goal, and they've had 11 and got nothing out of it. So, but I mean, fair play to Kieran and to Churchtown for grinding out that result, and that's another top six side losing.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at that formation beforehand, I couldn't see Churchtown losing. In fairness, and that's no disrespect to Pipey in any stretch of imagination there. But yeah, I mean, they haven't played badly either, apart from Robbie Keane, who, to be fair, he's probably CM3 were probably his height of his best player. But yeah, I think
Is that when he starts at Coventry or something like that?
Wolves on
Oh,
CM3,
Wolves, aye, that's true, yeah.
5 or 10 million, he scored about 45 goals. But yeah, I don't. You know what? He'll go back to drawing board, and I still think he'll make top six because obviously as you're going forward, he's got a random taxes generator. He'll learn, and don't do me any favour, Touchdown winning though, because if I get beat, I might find bottom of the league tonight.
There's trouble at the bottom. Isaac Okoronkwo gets the man of the match award. I think John Terry had a couple of key headers there right at the end. Plenty of key tackles put in there. Solid defensive display. Totti finishes at 73, just more than Cambiaso and just about the same as Doni. So who I think both of them started with full fitness. So he made a decent enough impact. Obviously didn't do anything really apart from passing the ball around a little bit. Roque Santa Cruz they had up top didn't get any headers in. I mean, there's hope for Churchtown, isn't there, for next season?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, depending on what's going on with the managerial situation and what they can talk about in terms of getting players in. Yeah, they've got a solid base that if they can ship a couple out that haven't done too well, but bring even one or two in that they could, sort of just make them that little bit better. I think they're dangerous every time they play somebody. So I think there's a lot to build on there. It's not to be too disheartened about this season.
Yeah, and maybe Francesco Totti will come good one day. Who knows? Fifey says he can't wait for the season to end. I mean, you're doing well recently, Devils. I don't know what has happened there, but well, we've seen it before. I think when in the season, whatever it was, 4 seasons ago or something, when Rossini was the top scorer, he didn't make the playoffs, or the Chudley Cannon side or whatever it was didn't make the playoffs. So it is possible for the top scorer to miss out, obviously. But anyway, enough of that. Let's see what else we've got coming up this evening. We've got Dragons against Leddersford. It might be a good time to dive into that one. What do you think?
Yeah, let's go for it. Yeah.
Let's have a look. We're going to see Arnold Brugging in action. Ronaldinho, Patsatoglu. Yeah, I think I've done this one right. I think Hodge and I had a quick double check with one or two of the players, and he made a last minute change. But Brugink was the one that coming in, so we've definitely got him in there. Hersey, who is their 12th centre forward of the season, he got a 7, and apparently that's enough to stay on. I don't know. What do you make of Hersey as a striker?
Yeah, well, obviously his form, his positions lead him to be a player. That I think he's been last season and this season. I think he's been one of Hodges' better players as well. Somebody I really like on game as well. But yeah, I think why not? When you look at, I know I think he said something about Morientes, who the amount I think Morientes, if I'm reading it right, Morientes has probably got the most goals to game ratio in the Super League for him. The amount of goals he scored for Hodgie, I think he's had him quite a lot every time, every season, and he scored quite a lot of goals. Better than 1 and 2. So yeah, you can see why looking at that. But yeah, you know what? When you've got Ronaldinho and Brugink behind it, I think Brugink's probably more of a goal scorer than a creator. But there's definitely plenty to be going with there.
Yeah, Ronaldinho obviously already 7 contributions in 11 games, so a decent enough start for him. He obviously not had the best last 2 games. Brookings scored a bunch of goals for Astor in the past, so we'll see what he can do. Sorochinsky, who is quickly developing into my favorite player in the game. I think is also a key player for him. Obviously, I think got a goal last time out, but we'll see how they get on against the Dragons. Oh, we've gone with the away side first for some reason. Never mind. Here are the Dragons. I think only one change for the Dragons. They brought in Brett Emerton and then made the arrows a little bit longer on the fullbacks. I think that were the only changes in there. Um, Setup. Konstantinou callback. Is that gonna? I mean, that's a defeat and 2 nil-nils. Long arrows on the fullbacks and bringing Emerton in. Is that going to be enough to put them back on to winning ways, back on track? I mean, it's obviously a huge opportunity for Leddersford here with fourth, fifth, and sixth all dropping points so far.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing is obviously they're at home. They've obviously had a couple of not attacking, so putting that bit of extra arrow on puts a bit more pressure on up top. I mean, you look at the side, and you know what? I love Konstantinou on game, and I think it's yourself that calls him a
The
Cypriot
Cypriot
win.
waiter.
Is, but I think he's done very well for him this season. In terms, I don't think as a having a Super League striker, you can't ask for much more than about 1 and 2. I'm disappointed not to see Zauri playing. I love Zauri. He's one of my favourite players on
Mm,
game. In fairness, and he's done well. But then again, Brett Emmons probably not played too much, considering they got in my opinion, a reasonable deal for him for what they let go for him. But it's strong. The Elias has been superb for him, and yeah, it's just I think Edgar Davids has probably been pivotal to him as well. Since he's moved into centre midfield. I talked to Greavesy a lot, and he was telling me that he can play. Again, I said earlier, I don't like DMCs in centre midfield, but
mhm.
he proved me wrong massively by the way he's probably marshalled this whole Dragons team all year. To be fair, so fair play to him.
Yeah, he's done a pretty good job apart from the last 1 or 2 games. Dragons lads, you've hit a slow patch of form. You thought about three at the back with an aim. Dable just trolling. Um, right. The predictions. There's a couple of predictions for away wins here. And Josh says a 2-1 home win. Oh, it's that tasty letters for the away kit. I do like that. What do you reckon, Steve? Dragons to get back to winning ways, or do you think Ronaldinho, Hersey, and the boys? I mean, Hodgie is a really renowned for his sort of second half of the season form. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But what do you reckon?
Ah, I think most of the games tonight it's tough to call this, but I'm going to go for a sneaky 1-0 Dragons win, as good as Letters
Ooh,
away last week.
sneaky 1-0 home win. Well, we'll kick it off and we'll see what happens. See if the Cypriot waiter can put me to shame again, as he usually does. Good start for the Dragons anyway, and there is Konstantinou. Great football by them, but they didn't score. Ricardo Gardner, forgot to mention him as well. Obviously, he's had a great start. Oh, and there is Davids, as you mentioned there in the beginning, um, putting Dragons 1-0 up, and Leddersford have it all to do now to get back into this one and try to capitalize on those poor results from their teams in the top six so far. There was Brooking with a chance, but nothing coming from that. Saeed has a goal there. They are creating chances. There comes Brooking again. A little bit disappointed, probably his manager, by seeing him not taking his chances. And there is Konstantinou. It's probably bound to happen. Oh, and that is probably, I won't say curtains, but we'll see if Hodgie wants to make any kind of changes here in terms of the formations. Shift someone else in there, or bring Paulista on, or do anything. 2-0 down and a red card.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I know both players I mentioned.
Oh, sorry, it's the other way around. I've got mixed up with the colours. It's not obviously not Hodgie who's doing it. I meant Duggan. I was reading the chat at the exact same time. Sorry.
I am going to stop mentioning players before every game now. I really am, because it's not fair on other managers the way it's.
Right, let's see the Duggan train again. Right, so apologies for the confusion. I was looking at the colours and the chat at the same time, and I just mentioned that. Either way, Dragons obviously the better side in the first half, at least up until that red card. Let's have a look at the match report. Um, Davids with a header off Bauma, who's been doing pretty well of late, especially. And again, another cross from him, and Konstantinou with the strike. And then it was a, oh my goodness, kicked out at Ambrosini. Right, well, there we go. So 2 assists for Wilfried Bauma. That's him up to 9 for the season. Edgar Davids getting sent off there. Um, Back on a 6. Yeah, I mean Jekyll and Hyde first half performance there from Dragons. What do you think the managers are thinking now? Any substitutions in the making? Do you think?
I mean, I don't think there's anybody on bench worthy of coming on for Archie back. In fairness, I think it's been one of Dragons, even last season to an extent, but this season I just think like a little bit of depth in somebody who could probably come on and make a little bit of a difference.
Hmm.
So you wouldn't even dream of taking Archie back off there, but no, solid from him. And again, I know it's been mentioned a few times, I've always been an advocate of a red card helping teams at the time, but looking at the way Leddersford have played first half, it's going to take a massive effort to come back to get a draw as well. Especially when you look at them, got three
Yeah,
fives.
I mean goalkeeper on a 5. Both your AMCs are on a 5. Hersey's on a 6. I mean, if they can utilize the space now in the center of midfield, if Patsatsoglu can find himself with freedom to roam and maybe play the ball into to Brooking and to Ronaldinho, maybe they can do it a little bit better. But it's it's going to be a tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's been really good recently as Ronaldinho. He had a little bit of a slow start after he brought him in, but then he really started finding his feet. And but he's more than capable of taking that up to another level and getting a goal of some kind. But yeah, Ojo will be disappointed, especially after a really, really good, probably one of the results of the season. Really
Mm.
going to potentially at the top of the league and winning 3-0 last week. But yeah, they've plenty of room for improvement though. So it's going to be an interesting second half.
Yeah, I mean, Hersi and Ronaldinho has done okay together in those AMC roles before, and now he's put Morientes on. So he's gonna need an early goal, isn't he, Leddersford? But we'll kick it off the second half and see what happens. Um, it could have been a very early goal there. Just 5 minutes played in the second half, and they were very very close there, but wasn't to be. And Dragons holding out still. Um, they have obviously been very solid defensively in the last couple of games. Well, just conceded 0 in the last two and 2 in the game before that. They are still creating chances, Leddersford, but they're just not finding a way through. 14 minutes left to play. It's kind of now or never, even if they're going to rescue a draw, I think. Um, but yeah, it looks as if Khan's. Oh, and then the game finished. I was going to slow it down, but then the last 10 minutes just kind of flew past. And yeah, I mean, wasteful finishing from Leddersford in that second half. I think really did it for them. Let's see who the main sinners were. Well, that was spread out a little bit. You mentioned there was going to be a disappointment after the result they had last time out. I, I guess that is a disappointment.
Yeah, I mean, the main positive is well, again, it goes back to me saying about not playing DMCs, especially somebody a defender DMRC. Past
Mm,
Soglu has been a bit of a revelation actually since he's been playing centre midfield for Odger. But yeah, I don't think there's anything can read into that result really because they aren't overly threatened the Dragons team as well, even especially when they went down to 10. Uh, but he's still got a chance if he can string a couple of results together. He's really going to put. He's still got a chance to put a bit of pressure on the top six.
yeah, and see there, well done, Dragons, for sealing top 6. I think that's not actually the case, is it? Because Gazelles are still to play, and they can get to 35. And they don't have a 9 point gap to Fulchester either. So I don't think it's guaranteed yet. I mean, it will be very unlikely for them not to qualify, but I don't think mathematically it's guaranteed quite yet. Um, so unless Gazelles lose and Aster lose as well, then I don't think it will be an actual red Q. Bauma getting a 10, man of the match. Well, we talked about C. Roberto, but he's not having a bad season, is he? That's
No,
nine assists now in 20 games.
yeah, if you can. if you get somebody that can give you an assist every other game, it is massive and it's been really good. I think looking at that, I mean, I think probably Zauri's probably come back in for Everton as a couple of tackles missed. But yeah, Archie Vack's probably just had one of them off games. But yeah, you know what? They keep chugging on at times when the side might not look the overly strongest out of anybody. They've got something clicking there at the minute that's just getting them results. And again, after losing, grinding out 2-0 and then getting a decent omen as well. It's boding well for them coming to us back in the season.
Yeah, back to the top of the table as well. So decent night's work for the Dragons here, right? What have we got left? Have I confused myself here? We've still got the Astor Fulchester game. We've done these ones. Then we've got Haggis as well. Haggis against Gazelles. Let's try that one now. I think that'll be an interesting one. Let's have a quick look here. Haggis Hunters up against the Gazelles because Gazelles obviously need to win this one to don't need to, but if they win this one, then that could be interesting for the league in terms of where the different teams go. Remember we spoke about Martin Laursen and his disciplinary record. He had 3 red cards. Look at this. He has 13 yellow cards in 17 games.
That is mad.
Big Paddy V is sitting this one out because he's suspended again. So even Guerrero comes in. I think that's the only change that he's made from last. Oh no, he's got Saha on the is that a change as well? Can't remember now. Yeah, it is. Saha comes in there on the right hand side. What do you make of Haggis? Their season, it looked as if they maybe were going to be able to do something at some point. They had a poor start. Things have gone a little bit sort of up and down from them. Another team who's had a bit of an up and down season, I think. Mostly
Yeah,
down and now a little bit up.
yeah. I mean, they started okay with a couple of good results. I think they beat us second or third game in the season, and they have got a very good squad. But he's found something now which is clicking a little bit. I know Tato come in and he picked a couple. He sort of picked it up a little bit, but I do genuinely think that Ian deserves credit for the way they've been playing recently. Because knowing Ian, as I've spoke to him over the last sort of 18 months or so, year or so, but he's I think he genuinely picks his own team and thinks about it properly, and it's a very strong side. I do think people go a little bit mad when they say how strong his side is. I think there's a couple of little weaklings in there. When you haven't got Vieira in there, you got Elguera, probably Saha to an extent, but yeah, they've got a big chance of doing some, depending on what transfer business can do coming off season. The big base they've definitely got a big chance of going really far next year.
He definitely puts in the effort in terms of the tactics and the set pieces and all this kind of stuff, and naming the tactic files as well. So yeah, he's he's definitely one of the managers that puts in. Well, I think you all do, to be honest, put in a very strong shift in terms of getting your team to do well. So I don't think anyone is phoning it in, so to speak. I've definitely not seen any evidence of that, which is quite impressive considering that it's been going for like I don't know how many years or how many seasons that people still keep taking it so seriously. That's good to see. No changes for the Gazelles, but they had a good 1-0 win last time out. Jeremies, I think, scored the goal, didn't he? Or is that my imagination?
Oh, I did.
He did. He did. Yeah, bit of a surprise, to be honest, that he's even in that. That's another DMC at an MC role. Steve, what do you make of it?
Is it me thinking of it? Is Jeremy's a sweeper DMC as well? Off the top of my head.
Maybe
No.
maybe in an earlier version or something. But I mean, he has got 13 passing. I don't know.
I'm thinking of Sebastian Kell.
All right.
But yeah, I think Battaglia, I like him. I don't think he can lace Nicholas Medina's boots. I think you remember start of last season. I think he scored 2 goals first game of last season. They did Medina from DMC, and I really really like him. But you know what? Again, it's solid front to back. Marino's been great for him, especially when he brought him in last season. He dropped, and Lucio were right to be dropped, and then it took Mourinho's form carried him sort of near enough into the playoffs. So it's always difficult to see past because there's just something not quite there in there. Where how strong they are, everybody expecting them to be there, but just not quite clicking with them. But I think when it does, it's going to be a bit of a worry for everybody else.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of for a few seasons been Craig's sort of problem. That he's actually had a decent side. They played good tactics, and it's just inconsistent. I don't know. He's one of the most consistent managers in terms of formations and team selections, but the results have just not really sort of reflected that. But we'll see what they can do tonight. Obviously, as you mentioned there, he does have pretty good players in there, and they do occasionally deliver. He's got a reasonable bench as well, although Big John Carew didn't do much. Agahawa is probably the worst Agahawa I've seen season two. Um, not a single 20, and still plenty of like tens and stuff like that in there as well. And he's played like a sack of shit too, so a bit surprising maybe, but we'll see. Maybe he'll fire into life next season. In terms of predictions for this one, can Gazelles pick up? Oh, they're in their away colours as well, aren't they? Can they pick up an away win here as they did last time out? Josh says 0-0. Potato Mourinho 2-1. What do you reckon, Steve? Away win possible for the Gazelles here, or do you think Haggis Hunters with their recent form is going to be too strong for them?
I've struggled to see past Haggis here. 2-0, personally.
2-0, 2-1 says Ian Edwards. 2-1 says Fifey. Haggis win. Come on, says Wooder. I was going to say, why do you care? But that's because he wants to. They want to seal qualification, obviously. True. Duggan says 3-1. Let's have a look. We kick this one off. Haggis Hunters. Shevchenko coming forward there. And that is Shevchenko. First chance of the game. And oh, my goodness, Mendieta with a goal now as well. Craig's not going to be well pleased with this. It's more of the same for him. He gets a good result, goes unchanged, and then has a terrible one next time out. That's happened before, definitely. Bit of a Fifey-esque curse there. Um, they are trying, though, can they? No, they cannot pull anything back before half time. Very solid, very clinical from the Haggis Hunters there. 3 shots, all three on target. 2 of them went back in. 41%. I mean, I don't know, they are camping in their own half here. Lot Echo Can 2-2 is the prediction there. Is that actually the first thing that happened? Was that
Well,
Shevchenko scored, and the
yeah,
second thing that happened was that Mendieta scored. That's it.
it's one of the quickest halves I've ever seen, in fairness.
How much do you want to bet that someone gets an assist for that Shevchenko goal, by the way? You can see Duff is definitely getting an assist. I bet someone else gets an assist as well. Um, we'll have a quick look. Yep, absolutely. Even Guerrero was somehow involved in that, and it's on a 9. Fair enough. I mean, you can't really you can't say fairer than that, can you? Decent play, couple of goals, well ahead.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably only Lewis Saha letting them down, really. But yeah, it's been pretty of what I guess have been lately. And as I've never seen such a quick half that have a couple of goals in as well. In fairness, but yeah, he's getting good numbers out of his big players now as
Hmm.
well. Yeah, which obviously music to his ears. And again, it's standing him in massive good stead, like I said earlier, for next season. But yeah, I think Raquelme there is definitely a shout and might do a bit of something. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like him. He has a little bit of a bad time, doesn't he? In Super League, I can't understand why that as well. There's certain players in there where he's not even to the level of like your Totties and to an extent your Mendietas, where they're that good but they don't do anything. But yeah, strange one.
Yeah, he's not done well. He didn't do well for Bostock, and he's not done well here. But he's getting another chance, obviously. In terms of the Gazelles, it's difficult. Sometimes they turn up, sometimes they don't. It's weird, but I don't really have the explanation for it. If it would help to make more chances than he does, Craig, or whatever. But they've not had a brilliant first half. Raul 2 shots not on target. Dede and Cafu had a couple of attempts as well. Should have maybe crossed the ball instead and hope that someone would have put the ball away back of the net. Castillo, I'm not sure if he really, but I mean his stats are pretty good. So I don't know when he was a monster in the reserves. Where? Oh yeah, Vélez Sarsfield, true. Um, yeah, I mean if you were in the manager's shoes, I mean I know Craig's not about, but
I mean, for 4 6s out of that really quick half means they haven't done anything too wrong. In fairness, it's a bit difficult. But when you've got it's a couple of his bigger players that are on the sixes as well. You've got Rio, who's his big penalty, he's been his big penalty taker this season and last season, hasn't he? And you got Raul again, who is it's his position for me as well.
yeah.
Playing where he is. But yeah, when you've got your bigger players on them sixes and the rest of them are doing all right, it's I mean, a little bit somehow, but I definitely think it's a bit of a bridge too far.
Yeah, Roy Keane. I mean, I've never seen Roy Keane play as badly as. I mean, his numbers are good, but his tackling. I mean, he's on 5.9. He should be on like 8, 9 tackles per game, really. But anyway, Rio Ferdinand, by the way, interesting little bit of information here. Rio Ferdinand, the only player left in the Super League, or the only player who's ever had that 100% record in terms of shots on target. He hasn't scored all his penalties, but all his shots have been on target. Either way, we'll kick off the second half and we'll see what Haggis Hunters can do, if they can hold on or if they can extend the lead, or if Gazelles can somehow find a way. Night Dimble, Dimble's out. We'll still got a couple of games left. Oh yeah, we're not doing it very quick. Okay, anyway, second half. Let's have a look. Mendieta's coming forward. Oh my goodness, lots of things happening. Probably as much happened in the first like 3 or 4 minutes of the second half as did in the whole first half. And there is Salas making it 3-1 for the Haggis Hunters, who I believe are maybe technically still in with a shout of the playoffs. Well, we'll have a look at the end of the evening. There's Castillo, who's looking good on paper, and he's in amongst the goals now, but it's too little, too late. I think as Haggis Hunters look closer to, or well, they were looking closer to making it 4 than Gazelles were to bringing it back to 3-2, and indeed, misfiring Gazelles, 14 shots, only 5 on target. Haggis Hunters far more clinical in that second half as well. We'll have a quick look at the Salas goal, see how that came about. Cantala from the left, Salas beating Marinho in the air. Yeah, well, and then Castillo, picking up the ball from Dede, and yeah, making light work of that. And then it kind of sort of petered out towards the end. Slightly improvement from Roy Keane and from everyone else in the Gazelle second half, but I guess it's just the finishing letting them down here, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not one to comment on other managers' tactics, but must have had some long shots on there. But what were he on 5-1 at half time? So he's created 9 chances and got 4 of them on target in second half. So they've had a real good go. And obviously, like we said earlier, they've got the players to do it. But yeah, like I say, I just think that, I mean, Castillo, what's that? It's 4 in it. I think it was 3 and 7 when you clicked on him. It's 4 in it. You can't ask much. You can't ask for much else apart from Mpenza where he's going. Then
True.
getting one and 2 in Super League as a strike. I think everybody'd be happy with that. Getting 13 out of 26 at league games. So yeah, he's there's. I think there's, as much as he'll be disappointed, I think there's still positives in there for Craig.
And down the other end of the pitch, Shevchenko getting man of the match on an 8. That's always nice to see, isn't it? But positive for Ian to see that everyone putting in a decent shift, and it's a good result for them. And I think it theoretically keeps a dream alive for their side there. Yapstam and Cordoba, obviously strong defensive partnership that he's found there. Mike Duff getting an assist after he came in, assist for Cantalac, assist for Guerrero as well, and then his front men delivering. Salas getting a goal as well there. He's been struggling picking the right striker, but that seems to have worked out okay for him tonight. Haggis Hunters to win their last 3 and get through to the playoffs. What do you reckon?
Well, I mean, you got Salas has got 5 and 8 starts now. Shevchenko's everybody. Should he play him? Should he play up top? I don't think anybody's got a right answer for it. For all time I've watched before being involved in Super League either. But I don't think he can ask much better. But when you look at that, there's not a 9 amongst them. So that it still seems like there's a couple of players there that have still got a little bit extra to give, which might give him a little bit of hope that he could actually do it.
Yeah, another gear maybe, but we'll see. We'll see in the last 3 games of the season how it's going to go for the Haggis Hunters. Next up, we have got Aston Athletic against Fulchester. Before we move on to the final and main course of the evening, yourself against the Burn. Let's have a look at Dudley, not at Dudley Hill, at Astor Athletic and Mr. Tato. He's gone with a sort of I was going to say a 2-7-1, which which it absolutely isn't because he's got two guys up top. The symmetrical formation here: Hofland, Hippier at the back, Mark Vivian Foe, Nedved in that MC role, Danielson out on the left hand side, Matty Holland, Kalusny, Adolfo, and Franca. They're in. They are just below the playoffs. They're obviously looking on to gain ground on Fulchester. Do you think they can do it, Astor, with this formation that he's got here?
With the formation, yes, because it's something that Macca and Fulchester have played quite a lot over the last 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
The playing in the positions that he's got, as much as I love Potato, I don't know, Adolfo up front.
Adolfo and Franca up front. I mean, I know Franca can do it occasionally, but Adolfo and Franca, not a striking partnership that's gonna get you worried, is it?
No, and I'd probably have as much as he was more a good player on 2000, 2001. Simon Davis on a right wing with his passing creativity, as opposed to Matty Holland. I'm ready to eat humble pie here, but there's a few players I don't like in them positions. But then again, you know what? They're within a shout. So who am I near bottom of the league to call
Yeah.
anybody for what they're thinking?
I'm surprised he's not given Big Bosco a start. I mean, I think he's had 2 sub appearances, but well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes for Asta tonight. They're up against Fulchester, who I mean, terrible luck with injuries. He's got, well, they are 5 first team players, aren't they? They're 5 starters. It's Biscan, Proton, who they might be interchangeable, but he's got at least 4 starters out, if not 5. So anything that he gets is a bit of a bit of a bonus, isn't it? Really, can't remember what he changed, if anything. Oh, he put Scholes in for Dalmat in that central midfield. That was the only change for Fulchester. Um, I mean, they are a little bit hampered by injuries as well. But and that front three, I mean, we're talking about Frank and Adolfo maybe not being the most sort of scary strike force. Sutton, Owen, and Saviola, I know they all 3 of them scored last time out, didn't they? But was it last?
Yeah,
Did they all score? Is that my imagination?
I know Sutton definitely did. But yeah, I did.
Ah, yeah, they all did. They all did.
Right, you can't fault Mac for going for the same again. I just think looking at the players he's got in the side, if you drop one of the strikers back to AMC, it's the same formation.
Hmm.
A lot more balance there with the players he's got in the positions. Tough one to call this.
Yeah, a bit more quality maybe in Scholes and we're wrong. I mean, I guess Nedved, Rui Costa aren't too bad. Kalushny maybe. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. Ian Edwards has a 3-2 away win. Lord Echo Can 3-0 away, a 3-0 home win. Woodha fancies an Asta win here. You shouldn't say that, Woodha. That's bad for you. You want Asta to lose so you can get your qualification confirmed. You can't chop and change. 3-1 away win, says Josh. Difficult to call for you, Steve, you mentioned.
I'm gonna go 1-0 Fulchester.
1-0 Fulchester. Well, we'll kick it off and we'll see if Asta can pick up the 3 points here, or if Fulchester will consolidate their place in the top 6. So yeah, all still to play for. Let's have a look. Beckham coming forward finds Chris Sutton, who finds Owen, who doesn't score. As Nedved and ooh, that's a rough one. Not seeing Maka about, but he's gonna have to
I think
make a
it's
substitution here.
I think it's fairly obvious at this present minute in time what you do here. as anybody else. But yeah, I've not seen Mac but
I mean, I just take one of the more pointless strikers and just put a goalkeeper in.
I'd be Chris Sutton for Molina for me. But
You got to go with the little and large. I'd take either Owen or Saviola off, to be honest. Let's see. Saviola did form. Dwight York for Owen and York in nets. He's gone to bed apparently, which is fine. I'm not sure why Ryan knows that he's gone to bed. but anyway, let's see. Michael Owen, good form. He had an 8 last time out. Saviola, good form, an 8 last time out. He's either footed as well. It's got to be Chris Sutton, hasn't it? I mean, I know I said little and large, but you've got to take Chris Sutton off, haven't you?
yeah, with that 3 and 9 when you're playing a 6.6, I don't think it's overly bad really. But
Well, right. Well, there's a lot of hatred for Sutton in the comments as well, so he gets to go. Jesus, take Sutton off. Why is it even an argument? I know. Right, 3 minutes in, and Buffon's been sent off. I think I said Bartes. Anyway, it was Buffon that was sent, obviously. And did I put the right goalkeeper in? Yes, I put Molina in. Molina. Right, well, we'll see. Big chance for Asta here. Nedved obviously puts them in front. We'll see if they can make the most of it here in the first half and maybe put the game beyond doubt already. But looks as if Fulchester's still in there with a couple of chances. That was Owen coming forward. Here's Adolfo missing a chance. Surprise, surprise. Molina with a decent save as well. Franca comes forward, but he was offside. Giggs and Beckham and Verong and Scholes are still in there. Oh my goodness. And now it's 10 against 10. Potato Mourinho is in the chat. I presume Nedved to the left-hand side and Costa into where Nedved is, but we'll see.
that's exactly what my thought process would have been. And even maybe depending on what's Adolfo back and Franco up top on his own as well. But obviously that's.
Could have.
But then
Nedved
again,
out wide and Costa central. Yeah, he's going to go with that one. So that's pretty.
it evens formations up, doesn't it? So
yeah. Oh, I think that was the second half. All right, okay, so we've accidentally double clicked, so we've jumped into the second half, but that's okay. We can still make substitutions. Let's see the map. Oh, right, what? Oh, maybe not.
I don't think we did.
Didn't I? Okay. Oh, there we go. Says first half. Oh yeah, of course it does. All right, sorry. Yeah, 11:30. Should have done this quicker or indeed earlier. Anyway, let's have a look at the what happened here. Was foul going past Buffon. Nedved scored the penalty. I want to see how Daniel. Oh, he kicked David Beckham. That's a little bit of the other way around of what it usually is, wasn't it? It's not David Beckham who usually gets red card for ruthlessly kicking Argentinian players back in the day. Fair play to Danielson, not taking any piss there and just going straight forward. Poor first half of Fulchester, I think, is fair to say.
Definitely, yeah. I think my thought process there was more Matty Owen skipping past into the box. I know he's a title last season, but yeah, I never in a month of Sundays have I ever seen Matty Owen skipping past people in box. So
I've not seen him skipping past anyone, and regardless of where on the pitch. But either way, Makalele on a 5. I mean, I know he's not about Mac, as mentioned there. He's probably gone to bed, but he's not going to be particularly pleased when he wakes up and sees us, is he?
no, but I mean, obviously, there's nobody there you can probably change him for. I think going into it, I think obviously, you talk about having a bit of improvement in, but yeah, there's plenty more to give from that team, especially where they had a really bad run of results, got a really good result last time.
Yeah, I mean, he's not gonna get anything out of putting Lampard or Dalmat on, or Cruz for Beckham for that matter. So, we'll see what Fulchester can do in the second half, and we'll let Mr. Potato Mourinho come up with some subs or something if he wants to put Kalusny's on a six. Can Simon Davies even play in there? Is that a midfield role that he could fill maybe? Guillaume is on the bench. Frank is on a seven. Adolfo's on a seven. I'm not entirely sure why, but
No, I mean, I definitely think he's got the ability to play in centre midfield, Simon Davis. I think again, just looking at that, and there's that little assist against Matty Holland's name. It's probably for penalty, but it's crazy, crazy.
crazy scenario, yeah. Let's have a look at the side. Yeah, there is Kalusny in there. I mean, that's probably the only one that would sort of spring immediately to mind just based on his poor first half performance. But I've not heard anything from Tato yet. Oh, Franca for Guillaume, please. All right, okay, there we go. We'll try and get Guillaume in there, another underperforming striker. We'll see if he can make the difference in the second half. It's 10 against 10. Astra takes on Fulchester in the second half here, and see if that's going to be really exciting if Astra get the win here. To be honest, let's have a look. Oh, no penalty. That would have really changed things up there. If that had been a red card and a penalty, Mark Vivian Foe, Guillaume stats there. I'm not sure what that means. Right. It's got to go Simon Davies and put Kalusny down there, isn't he?
Yeah, I think that's or at least swap Davis with
Or Matt.
Holland.
Yeah, put Matthew Holland down there and then put Davies on the wing, maybe. We'll see what he says anyway. But they're not making life easy for themselves, picking up injuries and red cards and all this. The Asta boys, Davies on and swap with Kalusny. All right, Kalusny, and here we go with Davies. 17, 17, 17. Yeah, he has a bunch of 17s. You're all right, Wooder. Well spotted. I didn't even see that. He's got probably more 17s than any other player in the league. What did I do there? I swapped the wrong player, didn't I? Cancel all changes. It was Mark Vivian Foe for Simon Davies and swap the two. I was so obsessed with looking at the Guillaume. Right, second half, full pressure from Asta, but I see Michael Owen involved all the time. I just wondering when a goal's going to come. I think it was him who had the penalty claim turned down as well. There's Michael Owen again with a shot from long range. Oh, somehow managed to wrong sub. I do the wrong sub.
I think he was just a bit late.
Oh, I did it. Oh, okay, yeah, I did it initially. Anyway, that's full time. Plenty of pressure from Fulchester there in the second half, getting back into it, and that's a big win for. Well, there's not really much point in looking through this. We can maybe have a look at. Oh, that was a red card. Um, what do we make of that? Saviola only getting a five. I feel guilty for taking Chris Sutton off now. I think I should have taken one of the smaller guys off. 5 and 6 for those two. What do you think?
uh, I don't think, given the form and the with the level of what the players are supposedly on the game, which again don't really equate to much. I think anybody would have done that. Mac done that in my opinion as well. But yeah, it's tough. But yeah, Molina's quite. I think there's always that thing where if you get a sub keeper coming on for an injury or a red, you always get an 8 or a 9 for some stupid reason. But yeah, it's not been too bad, but it's just not been good enough to get a result.
Yeah, just seen Mega House's big win there. Incident filled, but not necessarily interesting. I mean, it's interesting in terms of the context of the league and Asta picking up the win and making it exciting right up until the end. Shay Given picking up a Man of the Match award and probably one or two players suspended for the next game. Who was the referee? Matthew Breeze, not someone who's known for dishing out a ton of cards. I mean, he's got to be delighted, isn't he, Tato? He's in with a shout of the playoffs. He finally got a win after a couple of poor games, and didn't play too badly either. Although maybe a little bit lucky when you look at the amount of sixes and sevens that he's got in his side there, and still really lacking a striker option.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, when you look at Colchester, it wasn't that much better or any better, to be fair. So,
Mm.
uh, but it just massive. I think they were 29. Colchester were 32-1 before start of game. So it's really opened it up, and that's a massive result in that chase for sixth place. Is that?
Yeah, well, we'll see what that does to the table after the last game of the evening. We've got Northern Burn up against Dudley Hill, the one we've been waiting for. Almost top scorer of the league. Sigalco is in there. Del Piero, Henri, Robin, Gerard, Gattuso, Concha, Jagata, Samuel Cannavaro. I don't think he's missing anyone. Probably the strongest starting 11 there. Oh, Nakata could potentially play, but I don't think he's been that much of a regular. And he's had Robin coming in and doing a decent job. Um, who are you particularly worried about here? Tsigalco or equally worried about most of them?
No, I think Sigalco's obviously the main man for him at the minute. Um, I'm not overly a fan of Robin in that little bit of a deeper role than being an MC, but I think Del Piero this season's massively warranted being selected week in week out. Um, but yeah, he's got a core of a team that are just playing together now, and I know from talking to him, he's talking about making minimal changes, with transfers and things like that, which obviously stand him more in good stead next year as well. But no, they're in with a shout of, like I said, I know he's obviously had a bad time with E-Tech, this, that, and other, but I think he's got him with a big shout of not only gate crashing playoffs, but having a real good dig at maybe winning the whole thing.
Yeah, and apart from Toldo, not really burdened by, well, and he's only 31, which is not too bad. I was going to say he's not burdened with a bunch of players that are maybe like 1 or 2 seasons from away from retiring. So he's got definitely got a bit of a future in there as well. Looking at their opponents this evening, Dudley Hill. I think you're unchanged. Is that right?
Yeah, totally unchanged from last game. Formation's been exactly the same for the last few games, but yeah, I think it's hard when you're getting results to change it up. I know. I think I've been given obviously last season I expected the Tinkerman sort of tag, but I think this season I want a little bit more solid to start with, and then when things were going bad, you change it a couple of bits. And I've been tempted to go like this for quite a while, in
Hmm.
fairness, but a lot of the narrow formations all season have been a little bit. They've been found out a little bit, so just a little bit holding back. And I just thought, no chance of playoffs, trying to get away from being bottom of the league, have a go, and it stood us in good stead so far.
Yeah, and with Georgetown winning, well, we'll see if it will. Hopefully, it will stand you in good stead tonight as well. It's not been a good night so far from the top six teams, apart from the Dragons, but maybe Northern Burn can do something to to remedy that. If anyone's still around in the chat, then feel free to throw in your predictions. Well, Nick Bambi's not playing. That's a surprise. Feel free to throw in your predictions. I'm guessing you're going to go for a home win here, Steve. You've got to have a bit of confidence given the recent results.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're going to beat them 3-1. So
Oh. There's a mainly draws in the predictions. Josh says it's going to be a draw. Duggan says a draw. Ryan Scott, Tap Megaho says 8-1 for the home side. So you've got a fan in the house there. We'll kick this one off and see how it goes. Dudley Hill taking on Northern Burn, the last game of the evening. Oof, there's a decent start from Northern Burn there, but just failed to score. I just every time you see Sigalco's name popping up, you've got to be a little bit nervous. Oh, and that's Lee Boyer picking up an injury. Steve, I'll let you decide.
it's Van der Vaart, please. I think it's pretty.
Straight swap.
Yeah,
He's looking promising. Strange that he's not been performing much better there. Megaho says he may be exaggerating with that 8-1 prediction. Well, you never know. You never know. 15 minutes gone, and we continue. 23 minutes gone now. Tomasi, I think, picked up a yellow there already. That's could be a bit tricky later on because it is Wayne Oldham who's in charge. Chigalgo had the goal ruled out for the offside. Oh, and Chigalco won't be adding to his tally this evening. That's good news for you, that Steve, but man, not so good for Ian. I presume he's going to put which one of those boys is it again? It's Stanich on and put Henri up front, but I'll let Ian confirm if that's indeed what he wants done. Um,
It worries me a little bit, does that, because when we had the auction, I were bidding for Stanley,
Oh,
and Ian did me over a bit with him. Not did me over, but he obviously outbid me for him. So that worries me a little bit, because I've got a little bit of OCD with things like that. So it does worry me slightly.
all right. Well, let's see. Let's see if there's anything to worry about. And for both managers, do bear in mind Wayne Oldham is the referee in charge of the action this evening, so you might want to consider swaps on yellows at halftime. Let's have a look. 15 minutes to go in the first half, or 10 rather. Stanic coming forward there. Oh, he's getting involved already. And Thierry Henry, who's on top, finally getting a chance. Oof. I guess it's a straight swap for Petkoff, but I'll let Ian decide.
Yeah, I think if I were in there, I'd probably pull Petkov back with him being left footed. But then again, that's
And then
just.
pop Gattuso up there, do you think?
But
Well,
I'm
we'll
not
see.
trying to put things in his head there. That's just me overthinking left foot, right foot, malarkey.
Well, we'll see what he decides. Oh yeah, because Robin is Robin right-footed or either-footed?
I think it's left.
Goes left. All right, okay. Straight swap for Petkoff. Okie dokie, we'll do that. Gerard, where did you go? Where did Stevie G go? There he is. Right, okay. Right, a couple of minutes left for the second half. It's been a bit of a stop-start first half. Gustavo Lopez had a chance there, but wasn't to be for him. Here he comes again. It seems as if he's and here it comes again, Gustavo Lopez with three good moves there towards the end of the first half. Only one shot on target though, apparently so far, even though it looked like a little bit more. Let's see how the goal came about. Um, Kiosk beat the ball away. All right, okay, fair enough, fair enough. Bit of gamesmanship, Steve, apparently. Trying to put ideas into Ian's head. We'll have a look at Northern Burn first and how they did in their first half. Um, Del Piero on a 6 with a yellow card. Walter Samuel only on a 6. Cosmin Contra on a yellow card as well. Just something to consider, but obviously with two people having been injured already, maybe wasting substitutes is maybe not at the forefront of Ian's mind. But can't be entirely happy with the performance of his team, although he'll probably be quite happy to be 1-0 up. Thierry Henry seems to have done a good job replacing Tigalco up front, obviously, and Toldo's saved the only shot that he's had on target so far. Decent defensive spray from the two Gattuso and Cannavaro as well. We'll have a look at Dudley. Steve, what do you make of that first half performance from your side? Just the one shot. It's got to be a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, it didn't seem like that towards the back end of the first half. But I nearly put Tony in before this game, but Crespo's he got an 8 last time out, and his morale really good. But I'm going to bring him on for Crespo now,
Uh-huh.
please. But Serginho's doing what he's done all season, having a really good game. To be
Oh
fair,
gosh, yeah, 773. That is definitely a strong performance from him. And Tony comes on, Alex, Gustavo Lopez, Olisadebe. Yeah, I guess you just gotta hope for the best in the second half, and hopefully not having to having to make any substitutes, because both of you have got a goalkeeper and a central defender left on the bench. So that could be interesting with injuries coming up, if there are any in the second half. Um, Anything to add before we kick off the second half, Steve?
no, not in the slightest. I'll be surprised if we get a result out of this. In fairness, looking at
Well, I always keep my fingers crossed for the co-commentators, but it's looking a little bit dodgy based on that first half. We'll have a look, see if you can get an early goal in the second half, and maybe that'll change things around. Look at Tony could perhaps come in, aerial domination there, and do something. Finnan coming forward. There's Tomasi. It looks as if Tony was involved there. But Northern Burn still creating a bunch of chances there. But here comes Tony again. And here is Gustavo Lopez, goal scorer last time out, and he scores again. Scores a level now, 1-1 with 15 minutes to play. We will slow it down in a couple of minutes so we don't miss out on all the interesting action coming up here. 10 minutes left to play. Alta Samuel stops Olisadebe in his tracks. Here comes Finnan though. Olisadebe again. Robin stretches for the ball and picks up a yellow. No red cards yet from Wayne Oldham. It's a bit of a surprise. Here comes Alex again, someone who's been a little bit anonymous recently, but he's doing a decent job. All right, here comes Del Piero. Kiotis takes a free goal kick out to Finnan. 4 minutes to be played above the 90 or after the 90. Here comes Olisade forward again. Gattuso picks up a yellow card. Let's see if anything can come of the free kick. It couldn't. Stanley snuffs it out. 4 minutes left to play. It will be then, if it's just the added time left. Here comes Serginho, Rustico, and Thierry Henry brings down Serginho, picks up a yellow. Last chance of the game, possibly. Thierry Henry comes forward. Del Piero with a shot, maybe, or will it be Contra? Nope. Contra gets fouled. It's a yellow card. Kiotis catches the free kick. And that was going to be it. I thought it said 4 minutes of added time. We're well over that now. Indirect free kick, but Dudley Hill hold on for a draw against Northern Burn. Improved second half performance there from Dudley. 4 shots, 3 of them on target. In terms of the action zones, had quite a lot of possessions and actually managed to keep Northern Burn away for most of the second half. And Gustavo Lopez with a direct free kick as well, as so it was. Let's have a look at the Northern Burn stats. Man of the match, Gattuso. Steve, what do you make of that? Happy to have rescued a point there?
Yeah, I mean, most definitely. I mean, looking at the looking at the stats from first half, I think we're a little bit more even second half. But we do seem to have made ourselves a little bit harder to beat now. Not that we don't look like threatening to win games at points. I think the games we did win, like against Fulchester, against Gazelles, when we won them 2 on bounce, they weren't convincing really. But we've made ourselves a little bit harder to beat, which it bodes well going into next season.
Yeah, and a couple of comments there from Potato Mourinho and from Duggan. There are big injuries for Northern Burn going into the last 3 games and potentially into the playoffs as well, with Gerard and Tigalco both picking up injuries there. Gattuso obviously having a very good game there in the DMC role, a 9 for him. Apart from that, sort of a bit of a mixed bag. 7s and 8s though, so a decent enough display from Burn. Looking at yourself, Kiotis picking up a 9, Gustavo Lopez on an 8, Ayala 8, Serginho 8, Tomasi 9. I mean, performance-wise, you've got to be pretty happy with the formation and how it's working out with the players that you've got there.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, that's the 3 8s on bounce for Gustavo Lopez. I know we were talking about him before and about there's no reason why he shouldn't be able to do something like this sometimes. But yeah, he's had 3 reasonable games since he's spelling reserves. Stephen with another 8. Tomasi, he is what he is. I think 10-1 tackles, even if it's out of 15, I think he's showing his worth. But I think the biggest player for me so far this season has been Ayala. I think he were pretty poor last season. In fairness, the player he is, but he's been really really good this season. So I'm just really happy with the way he's playing. But yeah, I think I need a little bit more from Melissa Debe, but apart from that, yeah, massively happy to get a point out of that.
Yeah, we'll see obviously what happens. Only 65 in terms of the fitness, so probably not too bad for Lee Boyer, but we'll see if he comes back for the rest of the season. I think that's it. So let's have a quick look here. Yeah, Asta picked up. So Fulchester and 6 lost, and there was Boston, and there was all of these guys. But let's have a look at the actual table. I guess that's the interesting part. So as mentioned, there's no Qs because they're only 9 points ahead of Astra Athletic. So mathematically, no one's qualified yet with only 3 games to go. Although it will obviously be a bit of a of a turnaround for the for the ages if both Fulchester and Asta win all of their remaining games and overtake the Dragons. But we'll see. Who knows? Who knows what will happen in the Super League? But it's definitely keeping it interesting in terms of the teams down at the bottom. We did say that you could only pick up on average 1 point per game left, so it should be able to get 3 points you should be able to pick up on someone. So in theory, Haggis Hunters, Leddersford, Gazelles, Athletic, all in with a shout of overtaking Fulchester and Devils in Boston. I won't say that they are that that they are particularly safe. How do you see that, Steve? Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I mean, I think if they both get a win sort of next time out, they'll be there or thereabouts. But even looking down the way Fulchester's form's been, the erratic form of all the teams below at times, I still think there's no way that Bostock are completely out of it either at this minute, considering that they've got the ability to go win games. So it's going to be really, really interesting next 3 games.
Mm. Woda says that even if Dragons don't finish top, it's the best turnaround in Super League history. Well, it's definitely up there with the performance that they've had. Let's have a quick look here. This is going to be interesting to see now the fixtures coming up for. It's a tricky one for Fulchester. They take on the Dragons. Bostock in with a decent chance of picking up 3 points as they take on Churchtown Gazelles, who again could easily move up the table. They have a home game there against the Sloths. Hools Vikings. I mean, it's too far for them. Astra in seventh. That's a possibility for them to pick up 3 points. We've got Leddersford against the Devils. Leddersford could probably overtake could they? Leddersford on 30. Oh no, 35. But not far off being able to overtake the Devils if they pick up a win there. Boston are at home to Dudley Hill yourselves. That's going to be a tricky one. Haggis Hunters is going to have to get something on the road against Northern Burn, and yeah, that's going to be a tough trip for the Haggis Hunters, but they're definitely a possibility for them to pick up something there. Um, do you fancy your chances away at Boston?
I got a draw there last season. I don't think I'll change it up enough to try and go mad. I don't think there's any point. I think it's 2-8 now, so I think as much as I'd like to go try and do a Greavesy on Greavesy again like I did last season, I don't think I'll be changing it up. And I'm hoping for another Gustavo Lopez performance against the side. So,
Yeah, that
but
would be that would certainly go a long way. But yeah, it's going to be super interesting next week, and I don't think anything is going to be decided in terms of the playoffs really before I would say maybe the round after. But we'll see. We'll obviously get the pack out to you guys as soon as possible. You can set up your teams. And yeah, let's just have a look down at the bottom. Yeah, you're still 2 points ahead of Churchtown, and only 1 point behind the Vikings. So yeah, it's still all to play for. You could still make the not the top half of the table, but at least the the first screen. So we'll see how it goes. Um, Duggan wants to know something about AMLs and AMRs from Fifey. We'll let them discuss that. Um, I think we're going to call it 10 to midnight. A little bit quicker than what I normally do, but still a long enough show. So thank you very much, Steve, for being available at short notice and at a bit of an awkward time. Um, yeah, that's probably going to be it. Anything from you, Steve? Any final words, comments?
no, I just think going forward, I think especially I think this next game week is going to be massive in terms of where people will finish. Apart from us stragglers, us last three stragglers at bottom, it's going to be. To be fair, apart from being involved in the games we're in, it's going to be really really interesting to see how it all pans out from here on in.
Yeah. Well, hopefully most of the managers will be in a good mood after beating the Germans on the whenever it is on Tuesday, isn't it? So we'll see what kind of mood you all turn up in on Wednesday. But thank you very much, Steve. Thank you very much to all the managers for joining. And yeah, packs will be out shortly, and Ryan will confirm when the next round will be played. So take care and enjoy the what's left of your Sunday. Good night, everyone.
Right.